Sheriff Mack, I have described you as the second most important man in America after President Donald Trump, and I stand by that. You have clearly frightened the deep state. They're very worried about the sheriff's movement because they know that we've got them outgunned at the local level. If every sheriff deputizes every one of the 22 million veterans, there is no way any county can be controlled by the deep state. So I have some questions for you, and I'm really looking forward to your answers. So first off, what has the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association accomplished since you and I last spoke?
Well, let's see, was that since the Sheriff Rogers, the Sheriff Rogers and Sheriff Mack?
Yeah.
Well, boy, that interview really created a firestorm across America. I've never had such response from an interview in a long time, and including the interviews that you and I have done, the several interviews you and I have done together. It was amazing. People are really starting to catch on, and this is really taking the country by storm. And I've been really touched, moved, gratified, humbled by all the support we're getting nationwide and now worldwide. We're working with groups just since then in Australia, England, Canada. Canada getting very involved in this sheriff's movement. And every one of them are asking the same question. What do we do about this sort of thing in Europe or Canada? And I said, look, I don't care what form of government you have, when the Declaration of Independence says that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. Those principles came from England. Those principles come from God. Those principles are the same for every country and every person and individual in the world. Liberty and God-given liberty is meant for all God's children.
You know, I agree with that. And one of the things I've noticed is that the so-called Trump phenomenon is worldwide. I mean, you have people from Australia to Nigeria to Zimbabwe demonstrating because they get that Donald Trump is about restoring power to the people. So right. I understand that the Washington...
And another one, and I think it had to do with an interview with Sheriff Rogers and me, is that the sheriffs have now been getting FOIA requests from WAPO, from Washington Post, and that leads us into another one of your
Don't jump the gun now. I was about to ask that. I was about to ask that question. I do know what I'm doing.
Right.
Clearly, the Washington Post has taken under a campaign to undermine and intimidate sheriffs across the country by doing FOIA requests. Now, at the same time, all of the QAnons and people like me who are not QAnon but support QAnon as a great awakening thing are also being defamed, and torturous interference is being put on and so forth. That means we're all over the target. So how are the sheriffs who are being abused by the Washington Post reacting to these requests?
Most of them are just kind of going, yeah, you know, they're just turning it over to their legal advisor, which is the county attorney, having them respond. But I say this, if the Washington Post wants all the information that we have shared with sheriffs across this country, all they'd have to do is ask me. And so it seems like it's a lot deeper than that, than just trying to ask me. It like, if we went to Sheriff Mack and asked him about all this, he's obviously not going to tell us the truth. So we're going to have to subpoena or FOIA all the emails that Sheriff Mack has shared with all the sheriffs in the country.
Let me tell you what I've learned about dealing with the Washington Post and other scumbags from the media. You never, ever do a phone interview because they will cherry pick your answers and make you look bad. You always insist on recording the interview and having the right to publish it, or you take written questions that you answer in writing and you have the right to publish.
Well, what I did, I don't know if I told you this. I just called him and told him, the reporter that did this, I called him and I said, if you wanted to talk to me about this, you should have called me. We should have talked. However, we didn't do an interview then. All I did was I invited him to our conference this Friday and Saturday.
All right, we're going to get to that. So it's clear to me When I said you were the most important man in America after President Trump, I meant it. So why are you and Brad Rogers and all the other sheriffs, don't do this ego thing. We understand that you're not
Well,
about.
you flatter me with that
Why
tremendously.
hey, listen, you're going to pay a price later. I expect to be a deputy U.S. Marshal who can carry on any airplane anywhere in the country. So
Okay.
why is COSPA, see the constitutional sheriffs and peace officers, why are they more important now than ever before?
Well, because people have no place to go now. People have no place to turn for peace, safety, protection, and liberty. And the sheriff can provide all of that. I was just talking to Sheriff Tom Hudson from Massachusetts just 2 weeks ago. And we were talking about all the horrible things going on, the COVID restrictions, the false flags, the red flags, the deep state, the lies, the corruption. And he said, he stopped and he went, I know you know this, Sheriff, but the sheriffs of America can stop every bit of this.
You know, I agree with you. And let me point out that the reason that the video that I did with you and Brad Rogers went viral was because there were two important statements made in that video. The first was by Brad Rogers, that a sheriff can and should push back against federal, state, and local encroachment on the rights of the people. The second statement was mine. I am at the intersection of election reform, Wall Street treason and crime, and satanic pedophilia. And I am the former spy that is saying that most, not all, but most officials at the federal, state, and local levels, whether elected or appointed, are bribed, blackmailed, or brainwashed to go against the people's will and work for the 1%. And that's why the sheriffs, the lawyers, the doctors, and the pastors at the county level are so important. So let me ask you a leading question. Where are you on connecting with constitutional lawyers, constitutional pastors, and constitutional doctors?
Well, we haven't done too much with doctors yet, but we've done a lot with constitutional lawyers. 2 constitutional lawyers will be speaking this weekend, including Chris Ann Hall, who is going to be the finale, the final word of the entire conference on Saturday afternoon. We look forward to her words. She's an absolutely amazing speaker, very powerful. She's going to be the smallest speaker of all, but she will be the biggest impact. And we've done a lot with Constitutional Black Robe Regiment, and some of them will be there this as well. And I've done a little bit with Sherry Tenpenny and Charlotte, Charlene.
What about pastors, though? I need pastors.
Pastors we're working a lot with, a lot. And
well,
they've reached out
I want
to
to see
us.
them organize into a similar movement. This is very, very important. So let's just go right into your conference. Where is the conference? How much will it cost? What's the deal?
Well, today's the last day to register, but if somebody still wants to try to get their sheriff there tomorrow, I will make it happen. Okay, so call me, email me, whatever you have to do, and I will make it happen. But the thing of it is,
this for sheriffs only, or is it open to the public?
No, CSPOA is peace officers, sheriffs, and citizens. And citizens have every right to be there because sheriffs work for them. And we need that connection. The Constitution will not be saved without we, the people. So we, the people.
Where does the conference take place?
Okay, it's at the Woodlands, about 30 miles outside of Houston. The Woodlands. Go to our website and get all the information there, and get signed up, or get your sheriff signed up. Get anybody else signed up. Get your county commissioner, for God's sakes.
And what does it cost to attend this conference?
If you're not a member of CSPOA, it's $150.
And if you are a member,
$99.
Okay, and so when people go to CSPOA to join, they all are guaranteed a posse badge, right? I mean, I don't care about the hat or the lanyard, but the posse badge I think is way cool. And I have 2 stickers on my car that I treasure on Preserve Protect. You've done a tremendous job. Now, tell me about exactly when the conference starts and what the 2-day program is going to be.
Okay, registration's at 8 o'clock in the morning, Friday. And then I start off the conference at about 9:15, 9:30. and I will do the constitutional sheriff training that I do all across the country that I've spent 20 years putting together. And I promise you, I will show everyone in attendance irrefutable evidence that the sheriff is indeed the supreme law enforcement authority in his county, and that he indeed has the spiritual, moral, constitutional duty to protect his people from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And that means government officials if they're committing crimes.
Let's not leave out the firepower, okay? One of the things that came to me this morning as I was thinking about you is that when a sheriff deputizes all armed, informed citizens, including veterans, we can outgun any federal or state force.
Yes, and the sheriff has the authority to do that, and many sheriffs are already forming their posse.
And we have the authority to arrest these carpetbagging assholes that are coming in from outside. This is very, very good. And of course, you and I are both nonviolent people who want truth and reconciliation. But I believe the public is drawing the line, and they are drawing the line with you and the pastors and the doctors and the lawyers.
What we're doing is peaceful and effective, and that's why I love what we're doing.
Well, and that's why the Washington Post is a pimp for the deep state and is very worried about it. So anything the Washington Post doesn't like, by definition, I love. So tell me about the rest of the program. What goes on that evening and the next day?
Okay, so in the afternoon, we're having 2 judges, constitutional judges speak. And Chris Anhall will be speaking. My vice president of the CSPOA will be speaking about asset forfeiture and how we need to stop doing that until after conviction, which many officers have abused. And many departments take money directly from a drug deal and then the asset forfeiture from that, and they put it right into their departmental budgets. That is illegal. You cannot do that. It must go to the general fund. And you cannot police for profit. And that's what that is. So we're talking about that. We're talking about the border. We have a sheriff from Texas that's going to talk about the problems with opening the border to all the crimes and pedophilia and human traffickers and drug dealers. And I don't know why Biden gets away with making crime easier for the cartels.
Oh, that's the whole point. That's the whole point.
Well,
Biden is there to make crime easier. Let me tell you that you've got my vote for president if you will get rid of red light cameras.
Oh man, I have fought against that forever, and we actually got rid of them in Arizona mostly.
Well, God bless you, because I will occasionally do a rolling start or a rolling turn on a right turn, and the camera shows there are no cars, but I still get a ticket. Okay, so this is great.
Don't pay it. Surely you don't pay it.
Well, I do, because I'm a law-abiding citizen until I can change the law. But do you have a tip for people that get red light camera?
Yeah, I've got 7 of them. I never paid a one of them.
And all right, well, this is good.
They have to serve you. They have to serve you. At least here in Arizona, they have to serve you in person in order for you to actually go on your record. They can't just send it in the mail.
That's very interesting, because I do think the country's waking up. So everyone can find out about this event and register at cspoa.org. So
and we certainly welcome your donations, because we're paying for about 90%.
Will you be doing video and offering a live stream or anything like that?
We are. I'll get that to you. We are doing live stream this time. I'll email it to you.
Because your event in Lynchburg was very, very successful. I have certainly told everybody that they should join CSPOA. Now, I don't particularly like your conehead Chinese caps.
I know.
My cap is much cooler, and it's a low-fit cap. But I think you are literally the first line of defense, the last line of defense for every citizen in a county. And I know you're not seeking to glorify yourself or even sheriffs, but I think that we all need to understand that the sheriff is our last line of defense against federal and state and even local officials, including county boards of supervisors.
We're not trying to glorify anybody. We just want sheriffs to know and understand their job, and we want people to know the same.
All right. So how can people help support CSPOA? And I know they can donate. They can also join, and I think that's important.
Yes, spread the word that we're here. Make sure that you get involved in your sheriff elections in your county. Make sure you get to know your sheriff, vet your sheriff, ask him or her if they will keep their oath, if they're constitutional sheriffs, or if they would allow anybody to force you to be vaccinated.
That's good. I think we're going to push back on vaccinations. The thing that concerns me is I'm hearing that the tests contain nanoparticles and the DNA is being used in ways that are completely
That's why you only want to
unconstitutional.
do a saliva test. You spit into the vial and give it to them. That's the only test you should be taking for COVID.
I agree with you, and I personally am expecting a comeback here in March that will end lockdowns. A proper president has the constitutional authority to end all lockdowns and all masks as interference with interstate commerce. And that's the kind of
Hey,
leadership I'm thinking we're going to have. Sheriff Mack, I want to give you the last word, but I cannot say often enough. I think what you've done with CSPOA needs to be replicated by lawyers, pastors, and doctors. And I will also tell you, I'm working to build Web 3.0 and County Coin so that any county can survive a collapse of the economic system by going immediately to county barter and county interchange among its citizens. So what's your last word?
my last word comes from my Supreme Court decision written by Justice Scalia when we beat the Clinton administration at the US Supreme Court. Quote, but the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions. It will only do that if you have sheriffs and local people enforcing the Constitution.
And that's the last word. God bless you, sir, and God bless America.